There's a weight that sits heavy on every limited partner's shoulders, a burden that's barely spoken about but felt every single day, a gnawing doubt that no one admits out loud. The question isn't just about numbers or returns, it's deeper. It's about trust. Trust in the people running the show, trust in the decisions that carve the fate of your capital, and trust in your own instinct when everything feels like a gamble on shifting sands. You hear the buzz about diversification, market trends, buzzwords that drip off analysts' tongues like they're fat with meaning. But the truth, that raw, unfiltered truth, is that every choice you make splinters into 1,000 what ifs in your mind. What if this deal blows up? What if the fund manager doesn't see the storm coming? What if the reports are polished facades, hiding cracks underneath? And those what ifs don't just hover, they scream, keeping you second guessing, restless, navigating an ocean of uncertainty that even the smartest models can't fully explain. That's the poison every limited partner drinks daily, and the only remedy lies somewhere you might not be looking yet. You know the pressure to be clinical, silent, sharp, to never let emotions slip into the boardroom or your inbox, because emotions equal risk. But here's the truth. Emotions are powerful truths in disguise. Worry? That's your brain's alarm bell, screaming at you to wake up and see what's really happening. Fear? It's not a weakness. Fear is a signal, a map pointing directly to the spaces where you must sharpen your vigilance or courage. The trick isn't to smother those feelings or pretend you're the unshakable master of logic. It's to understand them, tame them, and let them fuel smarter moves instead of paralyzing hesitation. You're balancing on a thin edge, caught between wanting to seize opportunities and fearing the next misstep might cost everything. And it is exhausting. Knowing full well you can't control the market's chaos or the fund manager's choices, yet carrying the responsibility of stewarding massive amounts of wealth like it's your own life tethered to the line. This tension, it's the real battle behind every limited partner's decision. The quiet war waged in the spaces between calls and reports. But here's what no one seems to clearly say. Your real power doesn't come from trying to predict the perfect outcome. It comes from building a mindset that can absorb failure, adapt faster than the market's mood swings, and act, not react. Think about how you choose partners. Do you chase the trendiest names just because everyone else is chasing them? Or do you look for that rare spark? The people who burn with conviction so hard it can't be faked, whose vision refuses to be boxed by old rules. Your inner compass should crave those partnerships, not because they promise the highest ROI on paper, but because they demand more from you and from themselves. Because they're willing to challenge the comfort of business as usual, to unlearn what everyone else thinks is safe, and rebuild something sharper, leaner, and fiercer. That's where true psychology of limited partner decisions lives, not in spreadsheets or mailers, but in the dance of courage, curiosity, and relentless questioning. And here's something else that's often hidden in the noise. You are not alone in facing this wrestle. Every LP feels a crack in the armor sometimes, every one of you carrying a mix of hope, frustration, boredom, and that itch to break free from conventions straitjacketing your potential. The best thing you can do is lean into that discomfort, because comfort is a quiet killer of growth. Your decisions aren't just about avoiding loss, they're about seizing transformation for yourself, your partners, and the future you want to create. What can change everything? It's a brutal kind of honesty with yourself and with your partners. Demanding clarity where there is ambiguity. Choosing to hold people accountable not by endless meetings or empty promises, but by what they actually create. Rejecting shiny veneers and shallow metrics. Building a mindset where patience isn't passive waiting, but a fierce, calculated endurance, because you know the real game lasts long. Patience plus fearless scrutiny equals power. Few understand, but those rare few who do, those LPs who master this cocktail, are the ones who rewrite their own story in this wild ecosystem. You must resist the urge to fit into molds laid out by tradition. Your role is not to be a silent money bag. It's to be a sovereign force shaping the landscape, demanding evolution from the funds you join. If someone isn't terrifying you a little with their vision, if their plan fits too nicely within old blueprints, step back and ask why. Real progress shakes the ground beneath complacency. It creates grind, discomfort, but also breakthrough. Finding partners ready for that journey means finding those who view risk not just as danger, but as the price of real impact. Remember, every decision is a reflection of your inner state. Doubt clouds judgment, confidence sharpens it. But confidence isn't cockiness, it's grounded in knowledge, in real conversations with unvarnished truths. That might mean tearing down the usual facades and getting brutal with facts. Financials, team dynamics, vision alignment. Don't buy the emotional sales pitch. Demand to see the fight, the scars, the unfiltered realities. That's how you know if a partnership will hold up when the storm hits. One of the deepest psychological tools you have as a limited partner is selective vulnerability. Sharing your concerns and uncertainties not as weaknesses, but as bridges to stronger connections with founders and managers. When you show you're watching closely, questioning deeply, and willing to engage, even with hard questions, you push the relationship beyond just money and into something alive. That alive connection breeds transparency, faster problem solving, and shared ownership of success and failure. Finally, to those sitting on the sidelines, afraid to move because the stakes feel too high, know this: paralysis is the enemy. The cost of waiting can be far greater than the cost of imperfect action. The world doesn't pause for your decisions, so lean into the discomfort and make choices with clarity and courage. Be brutal with your questions. Be patient with the process. And above all, be relentless in your pursuit of the truth beneath the numbers, the human stories beneath the projections. You hold immense power not just as investors, but as architects of what's next. Your psychology, the way you manage doubt, fear, and hope, will set the foundation for the futures you help build. This is not just about money. It's about who you become in the process and who you choose to stand with on the edge where progress is born. So step into that fire. Let the tension drive you, not break you. Because in that fierce zone, decisions transcend transactions. They become transformations.